Peace family, it's Cancer and Oracle, one half of Remnants Gathering. I hope that you all are doing well. So peace to you weirdos, to you remnants out there, to those of you who are on this spiritual awakening and willing to question everything, right? So that you can evolve and integrate with your higher self and quantum jump onto a reality that you are manifesting that is not based on fate, but on your destiny, on what you choose. And so this is an energetic update. I'm going to go into some astrological events that I feel are super important right now so that you can be prepared for what is coming. I just want to thank everybody for supporting us. Before I go ahead, if you are new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. We call ourselves weirdos because, people think we're weird, and we kind of have been, most of us have been different our whole lives. And so this is us just taking that back, not being afraid to admit that we're not whole and that we are compartmentalized and we are in remnants and we are going through a soul retrieval. We're going through a process of healing and becoming whole. So with that being said, I'm going to get into the astrology of what to expect, what's going on. Okay. So September is going to start slowly, but it's going to pick up speed in about the second to third week. Okay. Now, according to Astro Twins, and I really like their website because I just like the angle in which they approach astrology. And it just always is in alignment with what I'm feeling energetically. So against the analytical backdrop of Virgo season, the first 3 weeks of the month gives us a lot to think about for September. We're not going to lie, the outlook for the rest of the year is pretty intense. We've got Mercury retrograde through election season, 2 more eclipses, and a final Jupiter-Pluto meetup, and the great conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn to navigate before 2021 even gets here. So Mars goes retrograde in Aries this month. The headline news is that Mars, the planet of aggression and drive, will turn retrograde in its home sign of Aries from September 9th to November 13th. Mars is making an extended visit to Aries from June 27th to January 6th. This will cause tempers to boil and hot-headedness to spike. There's little to no pause between stimulus and response right now. And while it's important that people don't feel silenced or suppressed, it's equally vital that we speak from an informed and mindful place. That's not easy with so much pain churning up a wellspring of feelings from the deepest parts of our collective psyche. The upside of Mars retrograde is that it will reduce the world's emotional temperature from a boil to a simmer. Instead of being reactive, we may find the space to be proactive, which is in everyone's ultimate best interest. The old adage of respond instead of react will help us through the Mars retrograde. The tricky part is that Mars in reverse can cause us to stuff down our anger, creating the effect of a dormant volcano. All that suppressed rage could explode when Mars turns direct on November 13th, one day after the already volatile Jupiter-Pluto conjunction of November 12th. Now, Mars rules weapons, and we'll need to be vigilant about gun violence for the rest of 2020. Given that Mars will station back into direct, which is forward motion, 10 days after one of the most historically charged U.S. presidential elections, we want our readers to be careful and safe. We don't want to post scary predictions, but we feel it's our duty to report on the range of possibilities so you can be prepared. Mercury retrograde is on the horizon. Mercury, which rules the postal system, will be retrograde from mid-October until November 3rd, literally ending on election day. Like, what the hell? Mail-in ballots are already priming us for another potential vote counting catastrophe that could surpass the 2000 Bush-Gore election breakdown, which was also during a Mercury retrograde. The only thing certain is that more uncertainty is ahead. In other news, all 5 of the outer planets, which are Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, are in powered down retrograde for the first half of September. These heavenly heavyweights move slowly and each spend 4 to 5 months in a retrograde cycle. It gives us a chance to pause and reevaluate our long-term plans, correcting course, and going back to the drawing board. But these retrogrades can also gridlock some of our major decisions. With all of the outer planets except Neptune stuck in grounded Earth signs, spring and summer may have felt like super slow motion, if not a grinding halt. Or as one of our readers put it, I feel like I'm getting half as much done in twice as much time. At times, it seemed impossible to plan for the future. Plans had to be scrapped, redrafted, and made again amid so much uncertainty about going back to school and work and vaccines being released. The winter flu season, we're all stumbling around trying to get through the day or week while being ready to pivot at any moment's notice. In some ways, the outer planet slowdowns were helpful. It's been virtually impossible for most people to operate at their usual speed against a background of 2020's intensity. The pandemic, shutdowns, police killings, and social upheaval have taken a huge toll on the world's psyche. Throw in the topsy-turvy eclipses of June and July, and our systems are still trying desperately to process it all. Picture the spinning rainbow pinwheel on a Genius bar-bound MacBook, and that's basically your brain in 2020. Now, on September 12th, expansive Jupiter will be the first to end its 4-month retrograde, followed by structured Saturn on September 29th, and then Pluto on October 4th. All 3 of these planets are in Capricorn, which rules structure and planning. The relief of their direct turn will help dormant agendas to pick up speed. So use the time wisely and make as many concrete decisions as you possibly can. Saturn is in Capricorn until December 17th, then it won't come back until 2047. Likewise, Jupiter will remain in Capricorn until December 19th, then we'll have to wait over a decade before it returns. Not that it will be missed, since it's in the weakened fall state. The balancing beams of Libra season will be welcome. The sun shifts into this measured sign from September 22nd to October 22nd. As a sign of partnerships, Libra reminds us that we'll go farther faster. You finna get some? We're finna go farther faster when we cooperate. There we go, y'all, the Libra energy. So cooperation is key. It's very important. With the world so polarized, it's never been hard to create dialogue instead of deepening divisions. Here's hoping the stars lend us a helping hand. So, y'all, I told y'all when I did the weekly reading for the collective that we were going into a cycle of agitation in the wash cycle. And so I'm not an astrologer, but when I went back and looked at this, I was like, this is in perfect alignment with the reading. And so I was just like, he in the bathroom right now. Sorry, y'all. Y'all already know what it is. Y'all get the whole experience. No fakeness over here. It is what it is. I'm not, y'all know what it is. So now that I mentioned all of this, some of the information we wanted to mention to y'all, like, okay, so what's happening is time is absolutely speeding up. Maybe you were taught in school to count 1 second by saying 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Or maybe you were taught by saying 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. That doesn't work anymore. Try for yourself. You can use the timer on your phone or watch, count, and see. So what happens when you do that? Usually more than 2 seconds go by in what used to be 1 second. So as we are being activated and our light bodies are being activated and a quickening is happening and we are splitting between realities and the dimensions are beginning to blend with each other, we are experiencing time differently. And so that's because of the quickening. So like with Mandela effects and stuff like that, I really didn't want to get into this in this video. I wanted to keep it about astrology, but I'm just going to mention it because I can't help but mention it. But just to prove that some of you aren't the same you that you were 5-10 years ago. So you may be another version of you from another dimension. And because of the merging and all of the doorways and the gateways and the veil thinning that have been opened, you can even look at pictures of yourself and you will notice maybe moles in different places, or maybe freckles in different places, or maybe like shit you don't remember. You're like, damn, I had braces in 2011. No, I got my braces took out in 2010. Like stuff like that happening. Don't think that it's odd. Because we are multidimensional people. So it's really not odd that this is happening. It just feels strange because it's just not what we used to. But I remember the stoplight, and the red was always at the bottom. That's the way I remember stoplights. Green was always at the top. And the reason why I know for sure red was at the bottom, because I used to always, when I would sit at the light as a little kid with my parents, I don't know, I had this obsession with how long it was going to take them to hit the gas when the light turned green. And I remember with the red light being the reason why I was at the bottom, because it's closer to your eye level. And so you're going to pay more attention to what's closer to your eye level. But if you look at the traffic lights, they're inverted. That's not the only thing inverted. From Chevron to many other things have inverted. So this is confirmation and proof that we are traveling through different dimensions and that they are merging and blending. And I'm going to put a picture in here of the lights, and maybe it can trigger you to see how do you remember them. And it might not feel like this is important, but to master thyself, to know thyself, to be conscious means that you're discerning and you're paying attention to things, maybe things that don't seem important. But for me, this is a marker to know when we have went into a new stream of consciousness, when we have went into a new reality, into a new dimension. So I'm going to put that in there because I just feel like it was interesting, and since the astrology is kind of tumultuous and just a whole lot of polarity and war, I'm like, let me put something in here to kind of lighten this up a little bit and, get your minds to thinking, and also to encourage you that no matter what's going on or what the rest of this year is going to bring, you are going to be okay. Change your language. Change your dialogue. Ignore what you see, and just be like, no. I do not have to be a slave to my perception. I am an awakened soul. I'm a god or goddess. And so I can alter my reality with the frequency of my thoughts. So I choose my thoughts. You may not choose what thoughts come into your mind, but you choose which ones you marinate. You choose which ones you meditate on. And I'm going to do a separate Mandela effect video because it's some more stuff that I feel is really big, and I don't want to condense too much in here. But energetically, I just want to say, y'all, that with the quickening that's happening, everything that's going on, don't be surprised if you have headaches or nausea, or maybe not really wanting to eat, as much, or really probably not having an appetite at all. Is not unusual. And as we're going through certain parts of the photon belt, we have been moved from Orion's belt, which is called Orion's arm now, to Sagittarius arm within the Milky Way. And that's been flip-flopping for the last 2 to 3 years when I started doing research on Mandela effects. And, I really, really like astronomy. And I remember the Milky Way, and I remember exactly where we were positioned. The Milky Way looks nothing like it used to. And if you look in books and go back and find residuals, sometimes you can use the Wayback Machines to find residuals. You will see that we're not exactly positioned where we used to be. And it's flip-flopped a couple of times. That's not a bad thing. Okay. And there are entities that are beings, divine ones, ascended masters, those outside of our light spectrum who are watching. The world is a stage, and you came here to create something. And so we're being moved to keep us safe, to keep us from going extinct before, because we're doing the work. And so, yeah, that's one of the reasons why we've been shifting throughout the Milky Way in different locations. And so, like I said, I'm going to do a separate video about that. I feel like it's really interesting. And I think it's really good to be aware and to be conscious of what's happening. So it's a lot going on. The most important thing right now for you to do, try not to pop off. Try not to, try not to allow your triggers to turn you trigger happy, where you are always finding yourself losing complete control of yourself. That is not where you need to be. That is not benefiting anybody to be there. And so when you're going through spiritual awakening, you do have these seasons of anger. You have these seasons where your core wounds, it feels like everybody is poking on you and throwing salt in your wounds. That's a part of the process. Taking a deep breath and responding in a way. Sometimes I got to stop myself and say, okay, would I say this shit if I knew this person was going to die tomorrow? Would I say this to them? You know what I'm saying? Is this the kind of energy I want us to leave off on? And taking that moment to take a deep breath and ask myself that, it keeps me from saying things that maybe writing checks my ass can't cash and saying things that maybe I shouldn't have said. So with all of this Mars energy being in Aries, that is definitely going to be a challenge, but it's a challenge that you can rise to, and you can succeed at this. You wouldn't even be on this channel if you were not awakening and if you were not capable of doing these things. So I want to encourage you that even though we are coming into more tumultuous times, I want to let you know that you got this. So do your meditations, do your mudras, do your rituals, do your yoga, do your self-love. Pick a day for yourself just to do something that is showing love towards yourself. Do your shadow work. Look at your shadow. When that shit come up, look at it. Look at it. Sit in it. Give love to it. Say, okay, I'm like this because of a wound. So I'm not going to react with frustration. I'm going to react with compassion for myself, and I am healing. By doing that, you are empowering yourself. But if you find yourself every time you get angry that you totally lose control, then what you are doing, you're feeding a monster that you're going to have to face later. So if you look at it that way, you can be like, you know what? I done fed this enough. I'm not going to do this right now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to do the opposite. So finding compassion, just find a way to root yourself in love and compassion, like real talk. Find a way to root yourself in the energy of gratitude and not the energy of judgment. And yes, being awakened is a job. It is a 24/7 job. You don't get to stop. You're having to take account of every word that come out of your mouth. You're taking account of your thoughts. You're taking account of your energy. So be in your body, get in your body, do deep breathing, like use the tools. We have been given these tools, as though for those of us who have got free of the matrix of religion, we have been given the tools, but a lot of us are not using them. So when y'all get, a notification that I post a free meditation here, please use these meditations. Use them for at least 21 days. A lot of times I do these meditations based on what spirit is moving me to do, or based on what the ancestors are impressing upon me that needs to be done. So I think that it's really important that you give yourself, your subconscious mind, the programming that you want to be in it. And if the messages that we share here resonate with you, use them while you can. I don't know how long YouTube is even going to be a thing. Freedom of speech is being taken away, like the post that I just made on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff is changing, and it's changing so fast. So guess what? We got to press in and do the work. So that this change does not become solidified as our reality. You choose which earth you exist on. So as you are seeing all of this crazy shit happen, you choose in your mind what you're going to focus on, and you project that into the reality that we are experiencing. This is just a simulation. And even with the movement of the planets, just because all of these planets going in retrograde, don't let that make you feel like you got an excuse to not master yourself, nor should you let that make you feel like you are a victim to the energy of the planets and there's nothing you can do about it. They are there to guide us and to teach us, and for us to become self-aware, and for us to be able to see ourselves so that we can edit and copy, paste. You know what I'm saying? Like, take the program out and put the right program in. The subconscious mind, it rules like most of everything. Maybe your conscious mind can control 10% if you've been really practicing being mindful, but you cannot fight fire with fire when it comes to this spiritual awakening. You have to reprogram your subconscious mind. So if y'all like me and y'all deal with insomnia and you go days and nights sometimes without sleeping, and you find a hard time going to sleep, you can still reprogram your subconscious mind as well consciously and just meditating, and sometimes that's what I do. And I say, I'm not going to be attached to whether or not I can sleep, but I'm going to meditate. For those of you who fall asleep when you try to meditate, be encouraged. That's okay, because you can still reprogram your subconscious mind probably better while you are sleeping, because you go into a more delta wavelength frequency, which is going to allow the whatever the words are or whatever you are listening to really plant seeds within you. So I want to encourage y'all, use this, y'all. Use this. The power is in the mind. We must be alchemists. We must become mentally athletic so that we can become spiritually empowered. All right. As we always say, man, your third eye has just been kissed. Peace.